Hey, what's up, guys? It's Damien and Brendan back at it again. We're
with the white vans.
Give a little tutorial how to drive stick. So like a few things about stick. Pretty easy. Start off there.
Do you want the wiki? We already tried to record this, but it turned out really crappy because somebody kept moving the camera and telling me I was wrong.
Because you're wrong.
Because I was right. Okay, fine, give me your tips.
So, first tips that come to mind when driving stick. So, when you're first getting into the car, you know, seatbelt, all that safety stuff.
Adjust your mirrors.
Yeah,
Unless
adjust your mirrors, everything.
You don't really need to.
Seatbelt. Get all ready to drive.
Do your
Once you
makeup
start,
before you start driving.
once you are ready to start the car, make sure you put the clutch in. Make sure you're in neutral. So go ahead, pull it out of first, pull it out of whatever gear, wiggle it around, wiggle it. See this? That's not good, but wiggle it around. Make sure it's good. Once you're all wiggling around like that, that's neutral. So you aren't in any gear, and that's perfect place to begin. Because once you start the car, after you put the clutch in, turn it on, you're able to pull out. You're able to bring the clutch out and not have to worry about the car stalling on you.
Oh, he did a wheelie!
He popped a wheelie.
That was awesome.
Popped a wheelie. You know, I popped a wheelie last night.
On what? What, your car?
On me.
What? Didn't you say the second damn thing?
Alrighty, so tip number 2 for driving stick. It's other than starting out in first, so you don't have to worry about killing the car, making it stall out on you or anything like that. You need to test out the clutch. You don't want to just begin driving a car and not realize where the catch point is in the car, because
Pop the damn clutch like you're fast and freaking furious.
yeah, if you just drop a clutch, depends what car you're in, either it'll stall out on you,
Take off,
or just sit there and die.
Sit there and spin. Like
Sit there and spin,
that's if you keep the throttle down.
Yeah.
But if you freak out, most likely you'll just let go of everything.
Yeah. But so to test the clutch, what you want to do is, so once you got your car in neutral, turn the key, everything's going right, go ahead, put the clutch in, put it in first, and then don't give it any gas or anything. Just sit there, bring the clutch out.
If you let it out slow enough, it won't die.
When you bring the clutch out,
On most cars.
you want to go slow, because you don't want to just drop it and kill your car without any gas. So when you're bringing it back, you'll notice that the car will start to idle extremely rough, and the more you come out, the rougher it will get.
Rougher? Rough.
The more rougher
Doesn't it sound weird now?
you totally fucking ruined it.
The harder it is,
The more you let the clutch out, the rougher the idle will become.
Or the less
so,
the idle will become.
No, it will become rough.
Rough?
The idle,
Rough?
the car is
Are
dying.
you a dog now?
No, because it needs gas. It wants gas.
What's up?
How's it going? So the more you bring the clutch out, you're going to start to notice a rough idle, and that's because the car.
Totally ruined that word. That word is quite rough.
The more you bring the clutch out, the rougher the idle will become, because the car is not going anywhere. You aren't giving it any gas, so it's starving itself as you're trying to put it into gear. But so anyways, once you bring it out and you realize that the idle is starting to get rough right at the beginning, that's your catch point. That is your number one thing that you're going to want to know once you start driving the car, putting it into gear, starting to roll. And because now that you know this catch point, as you start to begin to learn how to drive stick, you're gonna be bringing the clutch out to that catch point right before it right before the idle is really
Right
weird.
before it idles.
Can you just like say it once? So when you start driving the car and and you bring that clutch out as you're in first gear and you realize that you're at your catch point where it starts to idle rough, you're gonna start giving it a little bit of gas. So you're gonna start pressing on the gas pedal a little bit. And now this is where it comes into balancing your clutch. You're balancing the clutch with the gas to get it off smooth, to begin driving. And you're just, so when you're driving, and so now you're giving a little bit of gas, you're coming out with the clutch, you're gonna start rolling. You might realize that, okay, I'm bringing out the clutch a little too much, so your car will actually start to idle rough again. So the first thing that you want to do with that to keep your car from dying is to go ahead and push that clutch right back in. Don't worry anything about when you put your clutch in at the beginning. You'll do it a lot because you'll be trying to keep your car from dying on you. And you don't want to just step on the gas once you realize that it's starting to idle rough and then drop the clutch because you're freaking out, because then you'll just burn rubber. You'll just lay it down and you'll even burn your clutch, which is no good at all. So when you start to bring out the clutch, starts to idle a little rough, put it back in, and then go ahead and stop, and then redo it all. So you start to bring out the clutch a little bit, realize that it's at the rough point, rough idle, and you're gonna start giving it gas. And you'll realize that once you give it gas and you're holding it at the catch point, you're gonna realize that it's not gonna idle any rough anymore, and it'll just be smooth. You'll just start to roll, and then you'll get it to where you're gonna play with your gas and clutch a little bit, to where you'll bring out the clutch, and you'll start to give it a little bit more gas until you'll realize that you're actually at the end of your clutch and you're already all the way in your gas and you're rolling in first gear. So that's one of the biggest things when you're driving a manual transmission car, is that you need to find that catch point in your clutch, because you need to time the transmission with the idling speed of your engine on the finger. And look at it. Look. But if you got a foot,
You're good.
and you're good to go. You're good to go if you got the foot. So make sure you got the foot. Also, another good tip, when learning how to drive stick, go find some time with you and someone that knows how to drive stick. Go out to an empty parking lot or some abandoned road. Try it out. Get out there, get behind the wheel of a manual transmission car and test it out. But make sure you have the space, because you don't want to try to learn how to drive stick in traffic, or even just day to day
Cars and people.
traffic, driving.
Because they like to
and
get
cars
on
around
your ass on hills for some reason. Like you're a magnet to it. Happens to me more in a manual car than it does in an automatic car.
Really?
Maybe I just have shitty luck.
No, people always ride my ass.
Right?
Not like literally.
Oh no, we're not even gonna get into that. Yeah, I think so.
So tip number 3: find the person, find the time, and find the place.